Hi, I'm Ben from Sundowner RV. Today we're going to do the Hilltop Grampian 22-foot handover. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all around the outside of the caravan, show you what everything is, how it works, hopefully answer any questions that you've got, and then I'm going to go inside and go around the inside and show you how everything works. We are here in our showroom and our workshop down the back there, so you will probably hear some clonks and bangs and noises because we're hard at it, but shouldn't be too bad. Let's give it a shot. Come with me. So we're going to start with the front tunnel boot. So these boots open that way, and what I want to show you in here is the compliance plate. So the compliance plate is right here in the front of the boot. Now this one's got the slide out Swift barbecue, optional over here. But what I want to show you is the compliance plate. On the top of the tunnel boot, we've got a light inside the boot, and that's got the switch on the actual light itself. We've also got another switch which is just next to it, and that turns on and off this light here, which is perfect for the barbecue or portable barbecue, whatever you're going to use over here. We'll come back to the barbecue after. I just wanted to show you that. The tunnel boot goes right through, and the keys are the round key, Thetford key, that does all of the boot doors. Alright, so coming around the front, we've got our two 9 kilo gas bottles. Now when the caravans are supplied new, when you pick it up or we drop it off, depending on coronavirus restrictions at the time, these are full. Now it's really important to note that whenever you're travelling, the gas bottles must be turned off. The taps on the top have to be turned off. Alright, so taps off. The way they work, we've got a tap just here, and the tap faces to the bottle just there, that green one there. That faces to the bottle that we're using. So you use up the one bottle. When that's used up, switch the tap across to the other side, and then we use the other bottle, and preferably get this one filled. That's better than actually swapping it over, because swap over, often they're grubby old bottles, they don't look good on the front of your brand new caravan, and also they have different diameters and you have to start adjusting and trying to muck around with the clamp there. So that's why I prefer always to fill it if I can. Alright. Moving around, we've got the gas compliance plate there, and we've got the compliance plate from the chassis manufacturer, F&P chassis, just there. The chassis number, if you're ever looking for it, is on the top of the chassis just there. Jockey wheel, so the jockey wheel's fairly self-explanatory. Winds one way's down, other way's up. The important thing to note when travelling, jockey wheel needs to be completely removed. Don't think it's okay to just lift it up out of the way, because it will probably get caught at some stage and break the clamp, bend the jockey wheel, tears all round. So just remove it, no tears, it's all good. Onto the front, so this one here, this has got our DO35 hitch on it. So the DO35 is the fully articulated hitch on the front. We do them either with this one or the 50mm ball. With the DO35 hitch, when the hitch is supplied with the pin, and we'll fit the pin when we deliver or you pick up the caravan onto the tow bar of the car, it just replaces the 50mm ball. The pin goes up through that hole there. Once it's in, push the red button and that clamps it on, and then put the cover on the top. Now having the cover on the top locked on like that confirms that you have got the hitch locked on. Alright, the cover won't fit on if it's not in the locked position, so it's always a good idea to travel with the cover on. Okay, and then somehow, hard to do it when it's not on the car, pops off like that. When it's on the car, of course, it can't turn, so it's easy to pop it off. The handbrake's really self-explanatory. It's like a car handbrake, so that works really well. Over here we've got our breakaway switch. So that's a pin there, that's actually not pushed in, that's how it needs to be. So that's in the pushed in position. So what that is, that has to attach somewhere to the car. Generally there's nowhere specific to put it, so I put it onto one of the shackles which is attached to the tow bar. And the purpose of this breakaway cable and breakaway switch is that if the car and caravan separate, this pin is pulled out and the caravan's brakes come on. Now it is good to know that we're using the caravan's house battery to power the breakaway switch. Some caravans have a separate breakaway system, separate battery that has to be maintained. This doesn't. This uses all Hilltops use the caravan's house batteries for the breakaway system, which is good. Right, next up, let's just quickly have a look. We've got the chains here. So for the chains, we've got these hook gizmos there. really they're just there to hold the chain when you're not towing, to keep them tied in out of the way. When you do connect the chain up, what you do need to do is cross the chains over, and the reason for that is that if the car and caravan separate or if the hitch comes off for some reason, it will land on the crossover on the chains, not all the way down on the ground. All right, so let's hope it doesn't come off, but always when you put your chains on, crossing them over like that, that's the correct way to do them. I have done another video just on hooking up the car and the caravan, which goes into more detail about the chains and all that sort of thing. Let's have a look at the cables. So we've got 3 cables here. So this is our main trailer pin plug. It's a 12 pin flat. We're using only the top 7. Could be top or bottom, depends which way it's installed, but only the row of 7. So those 5 are actually blank. So it's normal trailer wiring. This one here is the Anderson plug. So the Anderson plug is for power to the fridge and to the battery. And the way that these are normally set up is we have power from the car to the fridge, then from the fridge to the battery, and we have a blocking diode so the power doesn't come back from the caravan's battery to the fridge. The other thing that is good to note, that you want your car power, the power that's coming from the car to the Anderson plug, to turn off when you turn the car off, so you don't get a flat battery if you pull over, stop for lunch, and still have power going through to the caravan. All right, so we don't want that. Lastly, up here we've got the Safety Dave rear view camera kit, or rear view camera cable. Now I'm just going to peel this back a little. So if we have a look at this cable, you'll see here there's actually a little arrow, and on the corresponding socket on the car there's also an arrow the same. If you match up those 2 arrows, so they're always lined up and together, you'll find it always clips in the right position and goes straight in without any problems. So arrow, you haven't got your glasses on, use your fingers, you can actually feel it. Just someone told me about that thing with the glasses. Right, so that's our cables. Keep coming, let's keep going around the outside of the van. So around this side we've got our freshwater tap here. So it's got a stone guard there to stop the tap from getting damaged by stones getting thrown up. Now that will give you water either from the caravan's tanks if you're using the pump, or it will give you water from the hose if you're using mains water hose at a caravan park or something like that. So that's for water out, great for washing your feet, filling the kettle if you don't want to go inside, that sort of thing. This side here, this is the other side of the tunnel boot, same key as on the other side, and that goes right through. You can see in there we've got the barbecue. Again. Next up we've got the power in. So the way these are, any 15 amp power lead will fit. It's not like the old days when you had to have a special caravan lead. Any 15 amp from a hardware store or caravan place will fit. As you can see, it's a normal 15 amp, but it's got the big earth, so that's 15, not 10 amp. And that just plugs in like that, and that cover goes down there just to hold it so it can't accidentally pull out. Next thing around here, this is our hot water service. Now these are maintenance free, there's nothing you need to do with them. It's the Swift 28 litre gas electric hot water service. It doesn't have a sacrificial anode. It's got a stainless steel tank. There's no maintenance, there's no reason for you to take the cover off. If the cover has to come off, that would be for repairs or for a service technician to do work on, but there's nothing for user maintenance on these, which is awesome. Okay, next up we've got the filler for our water tanks. Now the way the water tanks are set up is that we've got one pipe going to a T-piece. The T-piece goes to both the tanks, and then we draw out from a T-piece on the other side, which is our water out going to the caravan. So when we fill from the one point to both tanks, and as long as the caravan is reasonably level, then our water height in both tanks will be the same. And that's why you'll see inside the van, the water gauge is only one gauge, which is showing the height in both tanks. Okay. Now to open these, it's just the little silver key, so that one there, and all we do is we pop it in, quarter turn and undo. Now we've got 2 95 litre tanks, so 190 litres of water. To fill that up, it takes quite a while, probably 15 to 20 minutes from empty, so don't be too impatient. If you turn the hose up too hard, you'll find that the water will come back in your face, so just let it run in nice and easy, and yeah, expect probably 15 to 20 minutes to completely fill from empty. when it is full, when the tanks are full, you will get water starting to come back out up the top here. There's also overflows on each tank underneath, so you will start to see a little trickle of water coming out underneath from the overflows. All right, to put it back on, exactly the opposite, just screw it back on so it stops, or it starts to click. Quarter of a turn back to lock. Now when it's actually locked, you'll see it just spins, so that's the lock position. All right. Next up here we've got our light on this side of the van. That's switched by the switches inside the caravan on this side, and we'll have a look at those when we go inside the van. Moving on, we've got the vents behind the fridge, so that's to let airflow to cool the back of the fridge. So these have extra locking screws in them, just in case. There's clips up the top and then locking screws here to make sure they don't come off. It can happen otherwise, big trucks coming past, things like that. So if you do need to take them off to clean or something, those two screws and then clips up the top. You'll also find that that's the drain pipe for the fridge. So that is meant to be there like that. All right. This caravan actually has the Dometic fridge. The Thetford, which is the other one we use, is very similar, but doesn't have this pipe out here, that's all. The next thing, let's talk about the tyres for a minute. So we've got light truck tyres. So recommended tyre pressure is about 50 to 55 psi for normal use on the road. They can go up to 80 psi, but I don't recommend you pump them up to that pressure. 50 to 55 on a tandem axle works really well. If you're going to go on heavy duty corrugated roads, drop the tyre pressure down probably to 35, something like that. And then make sure you've got a compressor, so when you get back on the bitumen you can pump them back up. If you start driving at 100 kilometres an hour with your tyre pressure down low, you will overheat the tyres and damage your tyres. So if you're going to do those sort of roads in the outback, it's a really good idea to have a compressor with you so you can drop the tyre pressure, bring it up again when you need to. Behind the rear axle I've got this jacking point, so if I do have to change a tyre, I put the jack under here and jack the whole side of the caravan up. So for either wheel, that's where I jack it from. Okay. As with a car tyre, loosen your wheel nuts first, just a little bit, jack it up, wheel off, new wheel on, tighten up, not 100% but tight, drop it down off the jack, and when it's off the jack, tighten it up really hard. Okay. Behind the jacking point I've got my freshwater in, so that's a normal hose fitting. For freshwater we normally use a blue hose because that's drinking water, food grade, so we don't get contaminants from a garden hose. It's up to you whatever hose you want to use, but normally the blue one, which you can buy them at Bunnings or caravan shops, but the blue or white hose are the drinking water hoses, so it's meant to be better for you. Down here, now this van here, we've got the 2 batteries. So battery box is there. To take the cover off, we just undo those 3 knobs. There's no maintenance on these, there's nothing that you need to do other than at some point in the future, should be quite a long time in the future, you may need to replace the batteries. But other than that, there's no maintenance on these, but that's what that is. Now if you come down here and have a look underneath, there is something I should show you, and it's just up here. So what we've got here is we've got our 50 amp breaker there. So if we have some sort of a short in our 12 volt system, then that little lever there, I don't know if you can see, but just there will pop out. If it does pop, to reset it, all you do, just get my other hand up in there, is you just squeeze that lever back in and it's reset. So very simple. It's unlikely that it will pop, but it might do. So just be aware that it's there. And next to it there, we've got the Anderson plug. Now that Anderson plug goes to the breaker and then straight to the battery. That's for portable panels. If you want to connect solar blanket or portable panel to the caravan, that goes directly to the battery, so you must have a solar charge controller on the panels. Otherwise, you risk overcharging the batteries and damaging them. All right, most portable panels do have a controller on them, but not all. So check, make sure you've got one. Okay, next up is our generator hatch. Can be used for storing whatever you want, firewood or whatever, but it's ideal for a generator because it's sealed from the caravan. You won't get fumes going into the caravan, and it's nice and tall, so most generators will fit in there comfortably. Now, I didn't show you on the tunnel boot, but the key for all of these Thetford locks is this round black one, and they're very simple to lock. Key in, quarter turn, that's locked, and the opposite quarter turn and then that's unlocked. Alright, let's go around the back. So around the back we've got, same as the other wheels, spare wheel on the back, our safety day rear view camera. Now we've got that set up so that it's actually shining back so you can see what's going on behind you. It's not shining down to the ground right here. It will give you good vision for backing, but it's still really a good idea to have somebody behind you or on the side there, so probably not behind you, but on the side where you can see them and they can let you know if you're going to bump into anything or you're going straight or not. Take your time with backing. The camera's awesome. You can see you're not going to run anyone over or bang into a tree, but it doesn't really give you good perspective. It distorts things a little bit. So if you need to, if you're on your own, stop, jump out, walk around the back, have a look how much space you've got, and then jump back in and back it into the spot. That's the secret, is take your time. Okay, jerry can holder. So the jerry can holder, that's for a standard 20 litre jerry can. You're allowed to carry water or diesel fuel on the back. You're not allowed to carry petrol or gas on the back of the caravan because of the danger of a rear impact collision with the caravan. So jerry can in there, cable goes over the top, and then you can put a padlock on there if you want to secure it, which is a good idea. Okay. Right, so last thing on the back of the caravan is the external shower. So that's standard on all our Grampian caravans. This key here, the little funny looking black one, that's the one for the shower. So it just pops in there, opens up like that. Shower comes out. Now, this is the new model shower. So it's got adjustable head, you can change the spray coming out, and then you've got the flick mixer for your hot and cold water. So in order for this to work, you need to have either the hose connected for pressure to the caravan or the pump on in the van. But then, yeah, perfect for the dog, cat, no, don't use it on the cat, they don't like it, but perfect for giving the dog a wash down after the beach, or your feet, or kids, or yourself. So that's awesome, out of the shower, and putting it back in. The other thing to remember also is if you're having trouble getting the hose in for it, let the pressure out of the hose, because you can't really wind it up with pressure in it, that's all. But I don't think you'll find a problem with that. And just, yeah, pop that in like that.
You have to wrap it round a third time.
One more wrap, thanks,
yeah.
Gemma. So we go around again.
And then one more, yeah.
And again.
Yeah,
and
there you go.
Like
so
that.
3 wraps.
Door shuts. Done. Look at that. All right, beautiful external shower. Come around to the front of the van. So this one's got the Aussie Traveller awning. We do either Aussie Traveller or Dometic awnings. I've done a separate video just for awnings. I'm not going to do the awning now. I haven't got room here in the showroom, but it's a very comprehensive video which shows how the awnings work. Just jump on our website and look at our how-to videos. Toilet cassette. So toilet cassette, same lock as the other doors, so same round key. One there. Can't see it from there, but the round one.
Mm-hmm.
So the toilet cassette, door opens there. Now I put the keys in my pocket, so I've got 2 hands. To pull the cassette out, all we do is lift this green lever in here and pull the cassette out by the handle. Now the cassette has wheels on it, so you can take it to the dump point. So away you go. Now this one is a Dometic one rather than a Thetford. So it's a little bit different, but much the same. This one's got a good little feature here where if you can put the chemical in there, a bit of water in there. So normally we do just like a cap full, I'll show you the cap in a minute, a cap full of chemical into there and a bit of water with the hose, close it up, and that's then ready to use. To empty it, when you get to the dump point, oops, take that cap off. So this one's not a measuring cap, the other one is a measuring cap, so I normally just put, well, what is it, about 150 mils, 200 mils of the chemical in, and a bit of water, and that's it, I'm ready to go. I don't worry about precise measurements for it. To empty it, we just tip it in the dump point there. Over here you've got a button that lets air in while you're emptying the cassette, so tip up and push that button to let air in while the contents are being emptied out. When you finish, cap goes back on. So this cap always stays on apart from when you're emptying it. Put a bit of chemical, a bit of water in, and slide it back in. Alright, so that just goes back in like that. and make sure that that little lever there clips in, and that stops it from being able to move around when it's in the caravan. When we go inside, we'll have a look at the toilet and how the cassette opens, which is done from inside the caravan. All right, and that closes back up like that. Picnic table. Now with the picnic table, it's important you don't drive away with it in this position here. So somebody has closed it but not closed it, so that can just fall open. So when you close it, always make sure those clips are up and it's locked in. Pull down to open. Now these picnic tables have got a light up in the top here, and that's turned on and off with this switch just over here. And then to put them away, we pull up and close that way. Up here we've got 240 volt outlet, so that's a 10 amp 240 volt power out. That will only work if you've got power coming in on the other side of the caravan, but it's perfect if you want to put the toaster or the kettle or something like that on the picnic table and you've got power right there. Now being a Grampian, we've got the entertainment hatch. So entertainment hatch, same for locks as the other ones. The entertainment hatch has got the arm for the TV, so that comes out like that. TV just drops onto there and then point it whichever way you want. You've got two more 240 volt outlets there, so that's again ideal if you want to use it on the picnic table or you want to use it for the TV. And then you've got over here on this side, you've got two USB outlets, which is, for me, that's for charging your phone. So the phone charger goes straight into there, phone can sit in there or can sit on a picnic table while you're outside, your phone's getting charged up. On this side you've got a 12 volt outlet. Now that's what I would use to power the TV, because I would bring the whole cable from inside to outside, plug the power into here and into the TV. And then the antenna is this middle one, it's got a dust cap on it. The antenna goes onto that middle one there. And if you want to watch a movie from the stereo on the TV outside, you've got this outlet here. So that's your audio visual, or it's actually just the video, not the audio, but that's the picture from the stereo to the TV. And then of course you can get the sound from the caravan speakers outside. So you can actually have a picture on your 24-inch TV and then the big sound from the caravan's external speakers. It's pretty awesome. Set up your own outside movie cinema. You might all of a sudden find you've got lots of friends. Well, you might already have lots of friends, but you might have more friends. All right, to put it away, just push the arm back in, close the door, and all done. So the speakers, the way that they're controlled is by the stereo, which we'll have a look at when we go inside the caravan. Okay, next up to look at is the door. So we'll start with the door closed, find the keys. So that's closed but not locked. So locked is with the handle in, unlocked is out. So it's really obvious. The key for the door is the oval shaped black one. All right. So it's very simple. It goes in like that, and it's a quarter of a turn, and then a quarter of a turn back, and it's locked. And so you can see it's now flush. So that's the lock position. To unlock, it's a quarter of a turn the other way and back down, and now the handle's out, so that's unlocked. All right. Now, to separate the outside skin from the security mesh wire door, the way we do it is we've got two levers. So we've got one little one here and this big one here. So we need to push the little one out and then pull out the big one, and they just come apart, they separate. So what you can then do, you've got this high-tech device, this wire hook, that hooks onto, I'll just jump around here, hooks onto this clip here. So that's to stop the door from banging around in the wind, so now it's secure. And I can close the wire door. Close the wire door. There's my wire door, there. So I can close the wire door, keep the bugs out, and I can lock it that way. Door's locked now. So wire door and bugs and riffraff outside, me inside. Okay, no riffraff, security mesh, like it. Good. To unlock, quarter of a turn that way. So to put the doors back together, all we do is squeeze them back together like that. To lock the door from inside, we lock it like that, and it's just like that to open. I strongly recommend don't lock it and then slam the door shut. You can do it, but if you do and you've left your keys inside, you're going to need a locksmith to open the door. They're really secure, they're really hard to open, and yeah, if you're going to do it that way, just keep the locksmith's number handy. So always when you come out of the van, lock it with the key. It's better for the door, and also you won't accidentally lock your keys inside the caravan. The only other thing with the door is the blind. So the blind just works like a blind. It rolls down and back up, and so that's to keep the light out for night time for sleeping. It's really simple, works really well. Next up, we've got the step. Steps are also really simple. It's tipped up a little bit and in to put it in, and to pull it out, pull it out like that. So really simple. Handle. There's a little red switch behind it here, and that does the light in the handle and the light around the step. That's really good if you go out at night and you want to find your caravan coming back. Just leave that on. You'll find easy to find your caravan or anyone else's that's got the same handle light. No, it is good, especially when you're free camping and it's really dark. It is great having the handle light on if you go away from your caravan. Couple more things before we finish the outside. So down here, just outside of the awning arm, we've got the gas bayonet. So that's got a dust cap on it now, so that undoes like that. So that's for a portable barbecue, or in this case the barbecue that's in the slide out tunnel boot. So we'll have a look at that. So the way this barbecue works, this is the Swift 2 burner. It's got a little latch underneath that just push across that way. So latch across and the barbecue slides out. Normally I would use it, actually got to release the latch as well to turn it. Normally I would use it facing that way, but you can face it whichever way depending on which way the wind's blowing or what else you've got going on. Before we do the actual barbecue, let's have a look at plugging it in. So that's the gas hose bayonet fitting. That's got a plastic dust cap on it as well. So that just pushes up to the bayonet fitting. You've got to find the right position. Push up and turn, and now that's locked in place. So that's our gas on. The barbecue you can cook with the lid up or down. So being brand new, it's not assembled. So this, it's a little tray. I won't take the plastic off right now, but that's a little tray for keeping the sausages or whatever warm while you're cooking on the barbecue. Or if you want to use it, if that's in your way, just, well, it's not that way, just in the tunnel boot is where I put it. We've got the tray there, so that's for barbecuing. So chopped sausages, steaks, whatever takes your fancy. Works really, really well. And then in here we've got our 2 burner. Again, I'm not going to take all the plastic off, but it's like a normal stove. Push it in, hold in. I haven't got gas at the moment, but hold it in for a few seconds till the thermocouple switch warms up, and then the flame will stay on. And that's the lighter there. You can hear that clicking. So pretty straightforward. One thing that is worth noting, when you go to put the barbecue away, you do need to have the grill plate in just a little bit so that the lid closes right down. If you have the grill plate forward, you'll find you have just a tiny gap, and then you'll find the lid doesn't quite fit. It's really got to be exactly right to fit in. To put it away, just disconnect your gas fitting. Hose goes into the boot. Swivel the barbecue around. No. Hose falls out of the boot.
The hose is stuck. No, the hose got stuck.
And hose in. Just using that little catch there underneath. Just slide in, and in it goes right there. You can actually put it away with it sideways if you want more length in your tunnel boot from the other side, or if you have it that way, then you've got space all the way through there if you want to put long things in your tunnel boot that way. So it actually works really, really, really well. What else do we have in the tunnel boot? So a couple of things. That's our awning hook. So when you go to the awning video and see how that works, that's for unhooking and also for pulling the awning out. And there's one more thing that I'm going to try and hook with my awning hook, so it's actually useful for the tunnel boot as well. Got it, awesome tool. So this is our winder for our legs. So one thing I didn't say when I talked about the jockey wheel at the front was levelling the caravan. So when you arrive at your site, if the site's not level, if it's level, it's simple. Just unhook, use your jockey wheel to level front and back, and put your legs down to stabilise the caravan. But if you're not level sideways, the best way to do that, to deal with it, is to use a levelling ramp and either back the caravan onto the ramp or pull the caravan onto the levelling ramp so that it's level sideways. And then when you unhook from the car, use the jockey wheel to level forward and back. Alright, so once you've got the caravan level, I've actually put an app on my phone which I use so I can check the level because I like it to be exactly right. It is important for your fridge to work properly and to be comfortable in the caravan that you are reasonably level. Alright, so we're level. Our dust cap, should put that back on my gas bayonet, shouldn't I? It goes back on there. And what I do is I drop my legs down. So to drop the legs down, I pull the handle out and I drop it down. Now, ideally, I would like the leg to be vertical, but it doesn't have to be. So, ideal situation, I've got nice level ground, drop my leg down, wind it down, and I'll just wind it until I've got a good pressure down, but without lifting the caravan. So these are not made for lifting, they're made for stabilising, so the caravan doesn't rock when you're walking around, moving around inside the van. Now, in the event that the ground's not level and it's higher over here, I can put the leg out here, wherever, and then just wind it out onto the ground, and that will still do the same job. Alright. Personally, I wind with the hand winder, and I think that's the best way to do it because you can feel how much pressure you're putting on. You can use an electric drill with a 19mm socket on it, or 3/4 inch, same. Don't overdo it. Don't use a rattle gun. Alright, that's not a maybe or not. Don't use a rattle gun. Rattle guns put enormous amount of torque on here. You can't feel it on the rattle gun itself, and they end up breaking the gears. Okay, so electric drill if you feel the need. No rattle guns. Use the hand one. It really takes the same time by the time you get the drill out. When you pack up to go, you don't need to wind the foot right up necessarily. You just need to get it clear of the ground and put the leg right up there, out of the way. Make sure, don't let this lying around on the ground. Always put it away. And that's really the outside of our Hilltop Grampian. So next up, let's go inside and have a look how the insides work.
Your bloopers.
Okay, before we go in the caravan, I want to show you this switch down here. So just down here, you probably can't see it from there, but down here we've got a switch. So that switch there turns off all my 12-volt power to the caravan. So not absolutely everything, the water pump and the fridge control panel will still have power, but all the lights, the TV, the radio, that's all turned off from there. So if you're wherever, in a caravan park, free camping, whatever, but you're going out for the day and you don't want to worry about having to walk around and turn everything off, you can just turn off that switch there and away you go. So you're still charging from your solar panels, your fridge will still be working, but your lights and everything are off. All right, let's go inside. So I'll get you to jump around over there. The first thing that I want to show you is not interesting but really important, and that's the fire extinguisher. It's really important that you know where it is and you know how it works. Just in case you do need it, it's up here above the door. So take it off, you unclip it there and just pull it out like that. Now the fire extinguisher itself has got a locking pin in it, so that pin needs to pull out and then squeeze the trigger and point it at the base of the fire. Okay, and these are for powder type stored pressure, so you can use it for all different sorts of fires and spray it at the base of the fire. So just be aware, hopefully you never need it, but if you do, just knowing where it is and how to get it out could be the difference between putting out a little annoying fire or having a devastating fire. So keep that in mind, that's where it is. Have a go, taking it in and out, make sure you know how to use it. The other one I want to show you is the smoke alarm. So that's a 9-volt, it's not hardwired. When we service the caravan, we always replace the battery in the smoke alarm. That's probably the most important thing we do in the service. Make sure your smoke alarm's working. If you have to take it down because you're cooking and it's going off or something, that's fine, take it down, but make sure you put it up before you go to bed. Alright, really important, working smoke alarm in your caravan. Don't sort of mess with that. Right, let's start at the door and we're going to make our way around the van and see if we can make sure we have a look at everything. So next to the door here we've got these switches. So we've got this bottom one here, that turns on and off the outside awning lights, the 2 lights up under the awning, and then these 3 do the middle lights. So they do the middle lights over the bed in the middle of the caravan and in the ensuite. Right, moving around over here. So being a Grampian, we've got the TV bracket here, same as the one we looked at outside in the entertainment hatch. We've got one on the inside here, and these are the wires, the connections that go into the TV. So we've got the antenna, which plugs into the side of the TV, the power plugs into the bottom into the 12-volt input, and that's the video cable, which goes into the yellow plug, even though that one's white. It goes into the yellow socket, I should say, not plug, on the bottom of the TV. You only need that plugged in if you want to watch movies from the TV, from the stereo. For watching free to air, just power and antenna. I always plug it in, just makes it not hang around looking messy, so plug it in, it's out of the way, it looks better. When you're travelling, always take the TV off the bracket. I put it up the front of the bed under the pillow, and when I get there it's always there tucked in and not bouncing around. If you have it on here, being a 24-inch TV, they're quite big, tendency, the likelihood is that it's going to bang, knock things. So I don't bother locking with these locking pins, I just drop it in. As soon as I'm travelling, off it comes on the bed under the pillow, and it's all good. Now I need to show you up here in the cupboard. So up here in the cupboard, this is our power supply for our TV and our booster for our antenna. That one there is the power for the TV. The best plan for connecting your TV is have that unplugged, plug in the cables into the TV, and then plug that in last. The reason I say that is that if you plug in the antenna to the TV and then you go to plug in the power cable to the TV, if you touch the body of the TV, you'll blow the fuse. And I'll show you in a minute how to change the fuse. It's not the end of the world, but it's annoying. So if you plug that in last, you'll never have a problem blowing the fuse. Now, that's the antenna cable. If you can have a look up here, there's a little green light. So that's telling me that the antenna booster is on. I'll push that button, now the antenna booster is off. If it's off, I won't get any signal at all from the antenna. So this hardly uses any power at all. I leave that on all the time, so the booster's always on. If you find that you can't get any signal to your TV, that's the first thing to check. Make sure that green light is on. Okay. That one there, that's the cable that goes from the stereo, so that if you want to watch a movie from the stereo, that's your picture comes through there, and sound comes through the caravan speakers. Okay, and just two 240-volt outlets, which could be for the TV or anything else you want to use them for. Down here, so that's just storage. Nothing particular to see there. That's right, might need a little tiny adjustment. Now I'm going to show you how these windows work. So these are the Ranger windows. The way they work for flywire, keep those bugs out. Pull that top bar down. For sleeping, privacy, have the blockout blind up. Now you can have it anywhere in between as well. So you might go, oh, I'm in a caravan park, I've got those people just over there. I don't want them looking in on me, but I do need some air, it's stifling. Just put it halfway like that, or wherever you want, so you can have airflow and some privacy as well. To separate them, they're just magnetic. Just pull them like that, so really simple. So that's the blinds. I have them open when I'm travelling. I recommend that they're open when you're travelling. Main reason being that it stops them getting dusty and dirty, and then you've got to clean them. But it's also, I think, better for the blinds to have them in the open position when travelling. Now the window itself has got these latches. That one was already open, so it's got these latches all the way around. Those ones are open, so they just lock like that. Now the window can go into any position you want. So you want lots of air, you can put it right up there, and you just lock these two locking knobs on the sides, and it will stay there. And the wind blows, whatever, the window won't go anywhere. It's really, really good. You can put it, might be a bit windy, don't need that much air, or don't want to bang my head on the window. So just put it open a little bit, have some fresh air, but window down. When you're travelling, it's really important, you must have all of the latches fully latched closed. Alright, and that's about as complicated as it gets with the windows. Moving on around to the bed, up here, this is our USB charging outlet. So the way that works is that's just closed for tidiness and just turns around like that to open. For me, it's perfect for charging my phone. I have my phone there for during the night. That gives me my clock, my alarm if I need it to get up, and I guess if anybody wants to get hold of me my phone's right there. Hopefully they don't because I'm away caravanning, but no, that works really well and plugs straight into there. Next to the bed we've got hanging space, and down the bottom here, for me that's socks and jocks, but really actually a lot of storage space in there, so that's a really good drawer. Underneath we've got a small cupboard, could be ideal for a bottle of scotch or vodka, maybe a pair of shoes, I don't know, I'm sure you'll work it out, but it's actually a good little storage space as well, but it's only small because the tunnel bed runs across behind there. Next to the bed, very self-explanatory, reading lights, switched on and off on the light, and above the bed just storage space. I'll turn that light off because it just gets too bright in here, so you've got extra lights on the hatches themselves. We'll quickly lift the bed up and have a look underneath and see what we've got. So what we've got under here is, that's the pin for the DO35 hitch. So when you buy the DO35 hitch, which is optional on the Grampian, that comes with it. That's an inline water filter, so if you want to put that between your hose and filling the actual caravan just to filter the water. I've not used it myself, but it depends where you are, how good or bad the water is. It's a handy thing to have with you. Grey water hose, so that just pushes onto the grey water outlet, which I think we missed in the outside bit of the van, but that's just that just pushes on and pulls off, and that's a 10-metre hose, so that should be long enough for wherever you are. And that box there, which has got just our manuals, our remote controls, air conditioner, stereo, information about all the appliances. You will also get a manual that Gemma's made up, which is a summary of things like how to work the air conditioner, how to play a movie from the stereo, how to turn the fridge on and off, all that sort of thing. So that comes with the van as well. Lastly, under the bed here, we've got the TV. So box has been open, it's bulging up because it's got the bracket which hooks onto the arm. It's already on the back of the TV, so that's all there. And that has the TV remote control and everything in the box there. Down the other side of the bed, same as the first side, we've got the USB charging points there. These two switches, these are two-way switches for the middle lights of the caravan. So that one there is for the lights over the bed, and that one's for the lights in the middle of the caravan. All right. Okay, this is important, the antenna. So I'm going to show you how this works. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I've done a separate video just for the antenna, like I have for the awning, which you can also find on our website. But I'll show you how it does work. So it's very simple. You've got arrow up, arrow down. So all we're going to do is wind it up when we arrive at our place where we're staying. So Gemma, can you see that?
Yeah.
You can. Okay, so that's up now. And then to face the signal, to get the best reception, I turn it like that. So if you come back inside, come and have a look, I'll show you what I'm doing. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling down on this ring and turning it so that I can get the antenna facing the way I want it to face. Now, wherever you go, you're going to have to face the antenna towards the where the signal's being broadcast from, and you're going to have to tune the TV in, because in different areas the TV stations broadcast on different frequencies. Now, the important things to note are, how do you know which way to face it? Have a look outside, see where everyone else is facing their antenna, and you'll find, oh yeah, put mine the same 99.9% of the time. No problems, it'll work first time. The only thing that confuses me is when I go outside and there's a few pointing in different directions, and then I don't quite know what to do. And then it's a little bit of trial and error. I think you can get an app for your phone which tells you where to face the antenna, but I don't, I just look at everyone else's. Important is when you're going to wind the antenna down, you have to match up. So you've got an arrow here, and I can't actually see from here, so let's have a look. And an arrow up here on the ceiling. So those two arrows need to be lined up, and then just like that, then it's in the correct position to wind down. Once you've lined up those two arrows, then just wind the antenna down all the way until it stops. And there you go, it's down. You can, if you want, try having it on a slight angle. I normally have it all the way up and just face it to the signal, but it does depend how it's been broadcast and where you are. You might get better reception on an angle. Normally everyone just has them straight up facing to the correct direction. Right, let's keep moving. Up here, this cupboard's got a lot in it. So this has got our solar controller, which is this thing up here. there's nothing you need to do with this. That controls power coming from the solar panels to the battery, and it tells you how much power is going in, how much power is going out, what the voltage on the battery is, which gives you an indication of how full the battery is. It's not an actual measure, but you can say, you know, at 12.5 volts you've got reasonable power, 13.7 you're full, 11.7, 11.6 you're empty. So this control will actually cut all the power from the batteries if the battery voltage goes below about 11.7 or 11.6, and that's to protect the batteries. So if suddenly you lose all your 12 volt power, have a look, check what your battery voltage is. Maybe you've run the batteries too low. That's one thing it could be. All right. Below that we've got the fuses. So these are the 12 volt. Cut them off there. So they're our 12 volt fuses. They're a standard car 10 amp fuse. Now the way these work is that if you blow a fuse, the light next to the one that's blown will come on. So in the event that I had caused a short when I was connecting up my TV, one of these will have blown, the light next to the one that's blown will be on, and I know that's what I've got to replace. All right. So these are available from any car place, caravan place. They're standard car 10 amp fuses, and you just take that one out and put a new one in. Up the top here, we've got 3 switches. So pump. So that's the one we turn on if we're not using mains water. So we use either the pump or the mains water for pressure in our caravan. You could probably hear then the pump came on, and then when it came up to pressure, it actually turns off. Before you turn on the hot water service, it's important to either turn on the pump or connect the hose, just so that you're sure you know that the hot water service is full. Otherwise, particularly on electric, if you turn the hot water service on, you can burn out the element. All right. With the pump, just one thing to note, if you find that it's coming on when you're not using any water, then there's either some sort of a leak in the system, or the pump itself needs adjusting, the pressure switch on the pump. But don't ignore it. If it's coming on, you're not using any water, we've got to find out why, because we don't want any leaks, which could be inside, could be outside, but we need to investigate and find out. All right, so pump on or hose connected. Now if I'm in a caravan park, all I do is turn on my hot water there, and I'm now heating up my hot water by the 240 volts from the power from the caravan park. If I'm free camping, I'll turn on that switch there, and now the hot water service is trying to light off the gas. Now when it's flashing, that's telling me that it's trying to light, and once it does light, it'll stay on solid. When the hot water service gets up to temperature and the flame turns off, that light will actually turn off. All right, and then when it comes back on, if the temperature drops and it comes back on, the light will flash and then go on solid while it's on, and then turn off again. All right, so normally you would use either one or the other. That's not lighting because I don't have my gas turned on, but that's how they work. So normally free camping gas, caravan park electric, pump on or hose connected before you turn the hot water service on. Okay, pump off always when travelling, just in case if you do get some sort of a water leak, you don't want the pumping water into your caravan while you're travelling. So before you, that's one of the things to check, and it's in our user manual, but always turn the pump off before you drive away. Last thing up in this cupboard is our water tank gauge. So the way that works is we push this button at the bottom here, and that's telling me that both my tanks are full. So that's right, as they get empty, the lights come on only for how far up they are, until I think when it's only the bottom one, it's red. So very simple, just push it to see how much water is in the tanks. Now, next up, I want to show you the 240 breaker. So that's for power, 240 volts coming in from the mains. In the up position is on, and the down position is off. Okay, so that's off now, that's on. Now if you have a look at the microwave, we're plugged in at the moment, so you can see when the power is on, the microwave's got lights on it. If for some reason my circuit breaker pops, I'll lose power to the microwave, and off it goes. So first thing I do, if I want to know if there's power coming into the caravan, normally I have a look at the microwave and see if that's on or not. All right, if the microwave's not on, I haven't got power coming in, first thing I'll check is this breaker here. If it's gone off once, it could be just a power surge or whatever, a little spike in the power. I wouldn't worry, just switch it back on. If it's regularly or going off from time to time, we probably need to investigate and find out, is there a short somewhere, is there a problem? So they shouldn't normally be tripping. If I go and check this and it's on and I've still got no power, next thing I do is go and check that the cord's properly plugged in, And if that's all good, next thing I'll do is go to the pole where the other end of the cord's plugged in, check that it's properly plugged in, and also check the breaker on that end, because there's normally a breaker on the pole as well, and that can be tripped or turned off. Alright, and if it's none of those, probably give us a ring and we'll talk about other possibilities. That could be a problem, but normally you won't find any other problems. Right, I'm going to keep moving around. Over to our lounge area, so cafe seating. This is what we call our trifold table, so it comes in and out like that. You can travel with the table in or out, it doesn't matter. For normal use, when you're having coffee, watching TV, that's where I would have it. It's comfortable, it's lots of room. For meals, then I would put it out. Now, at the end of each of the lounges, we've got the footrest. So the footrest lifts up like that, and sometimes these little things underneath pop up by themselves, sometimes they don't, so you one did, one didn't. Now these are just footrests, they're not for sitting on, they're not strong enough for sitting, so they're just for sitting back in the lounge, feet on here, comfortable. Trying not to break the caravan. Now, to put these back down, you can just fold each of these down, but there's actually little buttons on the end. So if you put your hands underneath, lift up a fraction, squeeze the buttons, and down it goes. Really simple. Under the seats we've got doors, so you have got openings under the cushions as well, so you can get to that storage space. There's not a lot of extra storage space because you've got the wheel arch under there. So most of your storage you would use the drawers there, and you've also got storage space under the table just in there, so that's handy. We've got another 2 USB charging points there for phones or iPads or whichever. And I think that's the lounge. Switches. So these switches over here, I'll turn them all off. So these switches, I might turn this one off so it's not shining at you. So these switches here, these do the edge lights or bulkhead lights, except for this one bottom one, and that does the outside light on that side of the caravan. Alright, so that's the outside light, and those are the edge or bulkhead lights. So once you get your head around that, door side is the middle lights, fridge side is the edge lights. Okay, moving on to the fridge. So this fridge has got our Dometic 3-way. Just turn that on. Get my glasses out, see if I can remember how this one works. I think I've told you a lie. This caravan's actually got our Dometic compressor fridge in it. So this one works either on 240 volts or on 12 volts, and it will automatically choose the power source. So 240 volts is plugged in, that's what it's running off, and if it's if you're not plugged in, it'll be running off the battery. Right, so this is a compressor fridge. To change the settings on it, we push it, and then you can see that, what do? I can choose then what I want to do. So if I want to adjust the temperature, push it again. I have to go back because I think I'm too slow. Okay, so push, okay, temperature, push again. Now I can adjust the temperature. Okay, I've made it a little bit colder, push. Now if I want to change any of the other settings, push and adjust, turn to settings. So I can go to, let's see, user mode, performance, silence, eco turbo. So I can choose whichever one. I'm not going to change it, just going to go back. And I can go to, I think that's all I've got on this fridge because it's not a 3-way. So settings, so here I can choose turn off the sound, or I'm not sure what that is, I have to look in the book. But that's how it works. So it's all just on that one knob. So very simple how they open. You've just got this latch here, and that locks it for travelling. Opens like that. And as a fridge, it's just a fridge. This is actually the 224 litre compressor fridge, so it's the bigger one. Awesome fridge. And it closes like that. When you're not using it, to turn it off, just hold the button in until it turns off. There you go, that's turned off now. And of course, well, maybe not of course, but always make sure you leave the doors open when you get back from a trip and you turn the fridge off, otherwise you'll find they go mouldy really quickly. Alright, so that's our fridge. Next to the fridge we've got our pull-out pantry. So this is an extra large one. Really, that's great storage space. Let's keep going into the bathroom. So in here we've got our light over our ensuite. So the way this touch light works is 1 touch in the middle is half on, 2 touches is full, and 3 touches is off again. So extra light there. Down here we've just got drawers, so that's all good. Tap, plug, that just pushes down to close it off, push it again to open it. Washing machine. So this is our top loading 3.5 kilo washing machine. The important thing with this one is this basket, or whatever you want to call it, in the top. So it's important that this is in the washing machine when you're travelling, so the washing machine isn't banging around. Okay, so that needs to be in there always when travelling. So when you're not using the machine, have that in there. Power is over here, water is over here. I'm going to leave that in the off position. It's not something you use all the time, so it's probably a good idea to have the water off when you're not actually using it. It takes a second to turn it on. You've got another 2 USB charging points on the wall up there. Coming over here now, in this cupboard here, we've got a shelf and a hanging rail. So we can actually take that shelf out, it's not fixed. And that's got hanging space. It can be hanging space if you want, or can be a shelf. Adjustment on that one. Over here, exactly the same setup. So we've got hanging rail up the top, and these shelves are removable. So you can have that for hanging space for your clothes, or you can have it as shelves. And then you've got these huge drawers underneath. So for me, really, this becomes a place where your clothes go, and then this is your dressing room, because you've got the shower. Now the shower itself really works just like a shower. I'll show you the hatch on the one that's outside the shower. The only thing really to note about the shower is when you're travelling, it's a good idea to take the shower head down and either wrap it in the bath mat or put a sock over it so it's not banging around in the bottom. At the moment it's cable tied on, so it's not going to go anywhere, but obviously you don't normally have it cable tied. So if you go over a bump, it can come out, and then if it lands on the floor, the shower head can break or could damage the base of the shower. So that's why we say it's a good idea to take it off, wrap it in the bath mat, or get a basket for your shampoos and bath mat and everything in there, and then put the shower head in the basket. That works really well as well. The shower door itself, it's got a travel lock there, so that goes there, and it's got another catch down the bottom here, and it's also got a magnetic catch there, so very secure. Okay, next up is the toilet. So this caravan's got our domestic toilet in it. So it's got lights up here that tell you when it needs to be emptied. They'll come on. To flush, we just push the button in the middle there to flush, and it will flush for as long as you're holding the button down. For it to work, you do need to have either the pump on or the hose connected, so you need pressure in the van. It doesn't have its own separate water supply. Now, when we had a look at the cassette outside, you could see that there's the top there. So that's to open it. Can just have a look down the front here. So you've got this lever here, or drawer there. So that slides in and out. So when you're using the toilet, have that open. When you're not using it, have it closed. And that's important. Keep it closed, one, because it contains smells and everything inside, but also, if you have it up there in open position, you forget that it's open, you drive off down the road, everything's moving around, the contents of the cassette can splash out and end up all inside, and then you've got a bit of a cleaning job to clean it all up. So my recommendation, keep it closed when you're not using it. Okay, so that's the toilet. Now I'm going to just show you how these hatches work. So as you can see, you've got a light there, so if you want extra light for reading on the toilet or whatever you do, you've got the lights there. To open the hatch, very simple, just turn that handle there. And then to operate the fan, these fans can actually go blowing in or blowing out. So minus is air blowing out, middle is off, and plus is blowing air in if you want to bring fresh air into the caravan. So they can go whichever way. Now you can operate the fan with this lid closed. So it's actually got vents so the air can actually get out and the lid can be down. And the beauty of that is that if it's raining, you can have the lid closed and still use the fan. All right, and that's exactly the same over the shower. For the ensuite door, we've got 2 latches. So we've got one down the bottom there. So operate that with your foot, and we've got one at the back there, which is a cabin hook. So when you're travelling, always have both latches in place. That stops the door from tipping and also stops the door from sliding. When you arrive, unlatch it. If your caravan's level, and this will be the test of whether you've got it level or not. If your caravan's level, the door will stay in whichever position you put it. So it's really easy here. We're in the showroom, perfectly level floor, the caravan's level. But when you're out there on whatever spot, do try and get it level, because you'll find if you don't, the door will either open or close itself, and it's kind of annoying. It's annoying for me because I go, oh, I should have just taken one more minute and make the caravan level. So that'll be the test to see if you did or not. Right, let's go into the kitchen. So over the kitchen bench we've got the same as on the ensuite, the touch light over the bench. We've got our mixer and filter tap here. So the way this works, the top one here, so that's our normal mixer tap with hot, cold, and however much on. Down here we've got a separate tap, and this tap here is for filtered water. So that one there, the water actually comes out that second outlet there. So that's filtered water. Now the cartridge, it's a cartridge filter. The cartridge for that filter is just here in the cupboard under the sink, and that just unclips and can be replaced. It's really probably just, you know, when you feel that it's not, water's not flowing properly, or you're not getting good clean water coming through, then that's probably the time to replace it. Microwave, so that really works like a microwave. So one thing I think it's a good idea, especially if you're going to go on bumpy roads, is take the plate out of the microwave, or else pack it in something so that it can't bounce around. It's probably better take it out of the microwave and put it in the drawer, put it back when you arrive, just to make sure it's not bouncing around or falling out. Now above the microwave, up here we've got the stereo. So stereo works by turning on with that button there, and there you go, nice clean stereo channel. So I'm going to turn the volume off so that you can hear me. So the main things, I'm only going to show you the main features. These actually are Bluetooth, so you can connect your phone to the stereo. They can have a CD or a DVD going in the top there, and they can also have a USB, two USB inputs. So you can have a USB stick or portable hard disk, particularly for watching movies, can plug straight into there. Okay, that closes like that. They're essentially a car stereo, so you can save stations by holding the button in. Wherever you go, you're going to have to reset the stations though, because in different areas like the TV, the radio stations broadcast on different frequencies. Your phone can connect by Bluetooth to these, which is awesome if you want to play your music from your phone. The main controls are by pushing this button. So that's to adjust my bass, treble, balance, that's left to right, and fade front to rear. So fade front to rear is inside to outside. So front will be all inside speakers only, rear will be all outside speakers only, and 0 or F equals R will be half inside and half outside. So I'm going to put it back to all inside, so all inside, and keep pressing until I get back to stereo. Volume is back to the start. So that's how that works. If you want to know how to connect your phone, do all that, have a look in the book that Gemma's made up, or if you get stuck with it, just give us a call and we'll be happy to give you a hand. There is a pin for connecting the stereo to your phone for the Bluetooth, and the pin is, it's highly complex, so write this one down, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 is the pin when it asks you for one. Alright, sounds easy, but not when you don't know it. Okay, next up we've got the range hood. So range hood, this is a different model from our normal one. We've got a lot of different models of this and that at the other due to shortages in the market. I like this, it's nice. So we've got the light here, we've got 3 fan speeds, so we just choose the fan speed and light on or off and off. That actually exhausts outside, and it's got a filter here which you can wash in the sink or take it home, put in the dishwasher, so it's all nice and clean. So it's just like a home range hood, really works much the same. Righto, the stove. So to get to the stove, we lift up the bench top there, and then to use the cooker we need to lift up that lid. Now it won't work unless the lid's actually up. It has a cut-off valve for the gas and for the power, so you can't actually operate it without the lid fully up. So don't try and override that, that's a safety feature, it's really important. To use the gas burners, we just use them like a home one, we push in, we use the lighter there to click. Again, I haven't got the gas on, but we need to hold it in for a few seconds till the thermocouple switch gets hot, and then the flame will stay on. The red one there, that's a bigger flame, and That's what we call the wok burner. So if you want to put a wok or that style of plate on a bigger flame, that goes over there. So one there. So there are 3 gas. For the electric, of course, you have to be plugged into 240 volts. And then you can cook there. The grill and the oven are gas. The one thing to keep in mind, we've got fan forced for the oven. That will only work on 240 volts. That doesn't work off the battery. You can still use the oven when you're free camping, and it works really, really well, but you won't be able to use the fan forced. But that works well when you're plugged in. Okay, and then for travelling, of course, have the lid down and the lid down. So there's 2 more things I need to show you, and then I think we're done. Alright, let's have a look at the hatch. So I'm going to turn the light off because it's just too bright, but if you do need extra light, if you want to perform surgery, or you might just have a splinter in your finger or something, but it's awesome the amount of light you can get from it. It's really, really good. Now the way these work, I'm going to actually close that down. So that's the closed position. Now the thing to note about the hatch is that we've got these little red buttons. So you need to actually push the button in and then turn the handle to unlatch them. So that's how they work. And then we push up like that if we want the hatch fully open. But if we don't want it fully open, it might be windy, or we don't want that much air going through, we can just pop it down on that ledge, and then we just turn that little black catch there, and that stops it from going anywhere, so it's secure in the partly open position. When travelling, of course, always have it fully down, and handle goes up there, and make sure the latches are both closed. Now with the blinds, you've got flyway like the windows one way, and you've got blockout blind the other way. For nighttime, blockout blind is your normal thing, and then you've got magnets holding it together, so just pull it apart to separate it. The one thing to note is that when travelling, always have them open. So the reason is that if you have them closed and a big truck comes past, it can cause suction in the hatch, and it will actually pull the blind up into the hatch, and it damages that material. So always travelling, always have them open. Okay, so last up is the air conditioner. So this is our Dometic Ibis 4 air conditioner. Now these you can actually control from the control panel here, just by touching the control panel, or using the remote control, which is in that box under the bed with all the other bits and pieces. To turn them on, just turn on the power switch there. Once you do, you'll see that the modes come on and the temperature comes on there. So you can then go plus or minus, which is up and down on your temperature, and you can go to cold or hot or whatever. Alright, I'm just going to turn it off again. They do work really, really well as both a heater and air conditioner. I think when it's below 0, they don't work very well as a heater. That's my personal experience from Castlemaine a few weeks ago. We must have been well below 0, because actually all our water pipes froze, and the air conditioner didn't really work very well when it got that cold. Normally, all other times I've used them, 0 degrees, 2 degrees, it's awesome, really heats up well, and they're not noisy, and they're soft, stop and finish, because they're an inverter air conditioner. So yeah, awesome thing, and yeah, control it either here or with remote control. I think that's it for our handover. Hopefully I've covered everything. If you've got any questions, if you're not sure how something works, give us a ring, send us an email. Always welcome to call us. You're welcome to call Hilltop as well, but we're here to help and to support the caravan, and the main thing is that you have heaps of fun with it, enjoy it, and get out there on the road as soon as you can.